Israel's own security service banned him, then quietly let him back in. No announcement, no explanation, a classified opinion buried and kept from the state prosecutor. The man at the center of two of Israel's biggest security scandals is back inside Netanyahu's office. The state's own lawyers called it a loophole and then did nothing. It was a decision made in silence, buried in a classified opinion, and kept from the state prosecutor's office in real time. But it has now come to light, and it raises a question that cuts to the heart of Israeli governance. Who exactly is running the Prime Minister's office? Israel's internal security service, the ShinBet, quietly reversed a ban it had itself imposed, allowing Jonatan Urich, a senior aide to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and a central suspect in two major security scandals, back into the Prime Minister's office. The reversal, reported by the Israeli newspaper Haaretz on May 4th, was described by a source familiar with the matter as dramatic. In November 2025, the ShinBet had issued a specific directive barring Urich and fellow aide Eli Feldstein from the premises. Both men are suspects in the Qatargate affair, in which Netanyahu aides allegedly received payments from Qatar to cast the Gulf state in a favorable light during the Gaza war, and in the Bibi leaks case, involving the alleged leak of classified Israeli intelligence documents to the German newspaper Bild in 2024. By February, however, the ShinBet had changed course, following discussions between its own personnel and the PMO's security chief, Alon Haliva. An updated classified opinion was issued granting Urich and Feldstein access to the office, excluding formally designated classified areas. The caveat, it turns out, means very little in practice. Enforcement of access restrictions inside the PMO has long been slack, with aides lacking the necessary clearance regularly entering the most sensitive area in the building, known internally as the aquarium, the glass-fronted inner sanctum where the Prime Minister and his closest officials operate. The ShinBet itself conducted a review into the situation. The state's own legal submissions acknowledge the stakes plainly. The Bibi leaks and Qatargate affairs demonstrate the danger arising from these individuals being close to state secrets, leading to the exposure of classified information and highly sensitive intelligence, the disclosure of which could harm state security. Despite that acknowledgement, the state has continued to oppose a petition by the Movement for Quality Government, which asked the High Court of Justice to formally bar Urich and Feldstein from the office. The state's position is that no substantive change has occurred. There is also the matter of how Urich is employed. He is paid not by the Israeli government, but by Netanyahu's Likud party, meaning he is not technically classified as a state employee and does not fall under the same security requirements. The state's own filing described this as a loophole that requires a solution, while acknowledging the solution remained incomplete after more than 6 months of work. New revelations suggest a critical intelligence divide inside Israel before October 7th. With efforts to target senior Hamas, leadership in Lebanon reportedly blocked despite repeated recommendations. According to the report, ShinBet had, for years, identified Lebanon as a permissive operating environment for Hamas leaders and pushed for their elimination between 2017 and 2022. Detailed intelligence dossiers were prepared on multiple high-value targets and passed to Mossad, which held operational responsibility for overseas assassinations. Among the individuals reportedly marked for elimination was Saleh al-Aruri, described as a key architect of the October 7th attacks, along with Khalil Haraz and Azam al-Aqra, senior Hamas operatives in Lebanon. However, the Mossad repeatedly declined to advance those operations, citing prioritization decisions that placed the Palestinian arena lower on its operational agenda at the time. Before October 7th, Israel had not yet adopted widespread aerial assassination tactics in Lebanon, meaning such operations would have required covert, ground-based execution, further limiting feasibility and raising operational risks. The revelations come amid intensified Israeli operations in Lebanon. Since the start of Operation Roar of the Lion, the Israel Defense Forces says it has killed more than 1,400 Hezbollah fighters, raising questions about whether similar action against Hamas leadership could have altered the pre-war threat landscape. In response to the report, the Mossad rejected the claims.
This is false information. The Mossad has acted aggressively for years to eliminate and harm senior Hamas figures abroad, in accordance with the division of responsibility.
The agency dismissed the allegations as inaccurate, defending its record of operations against Hamas figures outside Israel. The disclosure highlights a potential intelligence gap in the years leading up to October 7th, raising enduring questions over prioritization, missed opportunities, and whether early action in Lebanon could have reshaped the trajectory of the conflict. A ceasefire may be in place, but on the ground in Gaza, military operations are continuing with Israeli forces targeting what they describe as active threats, despite the broader pause in hostilities. The Israel Defense Forces said its troops remain engaged in operations across both northern and southern areas, focusing on dismantling militant infrastructure and targeting individuals identified as posing immediate risks. On April 8th, forces operating under the Southern Command carried out a strike that killed journalist Mohammed Samir Mohammed Washa, whom the military described as a key figure within Hamas. The IDF announced his elimination through its social media.
Eliminated. Mohammed Samir Mohammed Washa, a Hamas terrorist operating under the guise of an Al Jazeera journalist. Washa, a key terrorist in Hamas's rocket and weapons production HQ, was also involved in the production and transfer of weapons through Gaza. The terrorist was actively involved in planning attacks against IDF troops and posed a concrete threat to forces in the area.
The IDF characterized Washa as a significant contributor to Hamas's operational capacity, stating that his activities were tied to the organization's broader efforts to build and sustain its military strength. In its statement, the military added that Washa had allegedly operated under the guise of a journalist affiliated with the Al Jazeera network. It said he had used this identity as cover to support militant activities and advance operations against Israel. This isn't the first time the allegations have surfaced. In 2024, IDF spokesperson Avichai Adrai claimed that Washa worked to develop Hamas's air force.
During an operation by our forces several weeks ago inside one of Hamas's camps in northern Gaza Strip, a laptop computer belonging to the individual Mohammed Samir Mohammed Washa, born in 1986 from Al Bureij, was seized, where documents revealed that Mohammed Washa is a prominent commander in Hamas's anti-armor missile system within the military wing. At the end of 2022, he transferred to work in research and development in Hamas's air force.
Al Jazeera has condemned the killing of one of its Palestinian journalists in an Israeli strike in the Gaza Strip, describing it as a deliberate and targeted crime. Regarding the strike itself, the IDF said that a series of measures had been implemented beforehand in an effort to reduce the risk to civilians. These included the use of precision-guided munitions, aerial surveillance, and additional intelligence assessments prior to the operation. Israeli forces under the Southern Command, the military said, remain deployed in line with the terms of the ceasefire agreement and are continuing to act against what it described as immediate and evolving threats on the ground. The Committee to Protect Journalists, CPJ, also said it condemned the killing of Wisher in the strongest possible terms. He is the 11th Al Jazeera journalist to be killed since the start of the war in Gaza, where a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has been in place for 6 months.